is that there isn't like a certain place you have to watch the show from. The view's pretty good from almost anywhere. Because the main thing you need to see is that huge machine in the middle and all the things that are around it. If you're in the very back of the theater, obviously the machine will be a lot harder to view, but it's still okay. But we do have one big restriction. The restriction is you can't watch the show from anywhere with red carpet. So we're especially hyper about the stairs. It's okay to use them, but please don't stop there at any time, or else I'll have to stop the show every single time. Move you on. Trust me, it's very old for everybody really fast. There's also a continuation of that red carpet on my floor, where it goes over to that door there. So maybe you can just make that a little bit wider there. Okay, thank you. If you follow the red carpet with your eyes, you can see why we make a big deal about it. It leads to the exits. It will be fairly dark during most of the show, so we want to make sure that if you choose to leave early, you can do that safely. So help us out. Again, it's fine. So the blue carpet on the sides, please keep that red carpet clear. Now, the other thing I want to mention is why people sometimes leave early. The show really is about lightning, and that means that during the show, we're going to make lightning bolts in the form of large, bright, loud, sudden sparks. So as a consequence, we don't recommend this program for families with preschool children. If you have some in your group, use your best judgment. You know them better than we do. But definitely make sure you know where the exits are, just in case you need them very quickly during the show. I'm just going to take 1 second. We have quite a few people coming down. At this point, I am running out of space up front, so anybody who's coming down the stairs, please head to the sides or the back. The sides or the back. Again, I'm pretty much a critical mass up here. Thank you. So anyways, I'm saying if you do have to leave early, remember that the exits are the glass doors at every floor, and they're not locked. You can come and go as you please. So on the balcony level, use the pair behind you. First level, pair behind you. If you're on my level, you can either go back up to level 1 or go to this corner one. Okay. So we'll actually, in a second, the theater is closed off. I just need one more minute to get sort of safety under control. Again, if you folks who just came in, we need that red carpet clear. So folks, I'm sorry, you'll have to move towards the back. Yep. And sir, off the stairs at the top. Thank you. And the last folks, please just continue moving around the back. At this point, we're kind of at SRO, so please keep moving that way. Just need that red carpet there. Thank you. Excellent. Looks good. Looks good. All right, that's fine. So please don't pinch that, because otherwise we will fly into the dark. All right. Okay. Again, you folks are just coming in. Again, please keep it moving. You can't stop on the stairs. Go all the way down and continue around the back of the machine. All right. I think that should have things under control. I gave you a signal from my colleague at Home Safety. They closed off the theater. We are at capacity. So let's get this party started. How's everyone doing today? Excellent. Good to see you. My name is Matt. I'm an educator here at the museum, and I'll be your host for our show. I won't bother repeating my announcements since we just made them a moment ago. But again, the key thing I want to remind you of, especially because we did have a few last people coming in late, remember that during the show, we will be making lightning frequently in the form of large, bright, loud, sudden sparks. So if you do need to take a break at some point, just remember the exit doors aren't locked. You can come and go as you please, but watch your step when it's dark. And speaking of darkness, it's okay to take photographs or to video this program, but one thing that's important for my safety, please don't shine spotlights on me so that I can't see what I'm doing. Now, I know we always give this speech, and I always wonder if people are skeptical about just how big and bright our sparks are. So personally speaking, I really like to put my money where my mouth is, and let's actually sort of whet your appetite by making some big, bright, loud, sudden sparks. Now, I want to warn you, what I'm about to make don't really have much to do with lightning, but they're an awful lot of fun. So, again, let's sort of get everybody excited and get things started on 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's plenty more where that came from. Thank you. Louder and more awesome as we go along. And at the end of the show, we're going to turn everything to full blast and make an indoor lightning storm. But first, I want to teach you a couple of things about what lightning is and how to be safer. I'm going to tie those ideas together with a major way we control electricity using a concept called resistance. Before I define that word, I'll tell you something that might surprise you. You're hardly ever going to hear me use the word electricity from this point on. To be honest, I don't like that word very much because it's vague and abstract and doesn't really tell you what's going on. So instead I'll be using a much more concrete term, electric current. Most of you have heard that term before, and a lot of you know what it means, but every single one of you, even if you don't know what it means, uses electric currents constantly in your life. Because when you hit the switch on the wall to turn on the lights, or when you hit a switch or button on something powered by a battery, like this transmitter that's in my pocket, you're basically opening a door that lets an electric current flow through a wire. And as that current flows, it takes energy from one place to another. In this case, it takes the energy from the battery in my pocket to my microphone. That's what currents do. They move energy around. Now, resistance is a measurement of whether it's easy or hard for a current to go through something. Wires are really low resistance. I don't want to waste energy with wire. I want to get up to my microphone. That's kind of the point. Now, that doesn't mean that if something is high resistance, you can't make a current go through it. It just takes a lot more energy. So a really good example of this is the air. Air is really high resistance, so it takes a lot of energy to push a current through it. But when you do, you get a very special current that we call a spark. And if it's big, we call it a lightning bolt. Now, maybe you'll learn that a gigantic lightning bolt from a cloud actually has something in common with a tiny current going through this wire on my chest. They're made of exactly the same thing, and it's called charge. Would you like to see what some charge looks like? Yeah. Then I'll need, very in the back, I'll need some help from my level. A teenager or an adult with shoulder-length hair. A teenager or an adult with shoulder-length hair. Seriously, I usually beat people off when I call out for this. All right, there's somebody way over there. I can't see them, so I'm going to assume they have the right here. Coming over. That's the spirit. Do we right up on stage? Oh yeah, she's excited. Hello, oh, that was perfect. What's your name? Lauren, so glad you came. Yeah, this is going to be a good one, folks. All right, now Lauren's going to help you in two different ways. First of all, she's a great example of what charge looks like, but she's mostly made of charge. Now, that doesn't make her terribly special by itself, because you're all made of charge too, and so is whatever you had for lunch, and so is the bed you're going to sleep in tonight. Basically, all the matter we come across every day in the universe is mostly charge. And it comes in two flavors, positive, negative. Now, Lauren's going to have the same number of positive and negative charges in her body. Since it's balanced out, there's no reason for it to do anything. This is not very interesting. So, Lauren's going to help you with something else. We're going to show you what happens when you unbalance charge. We're going to do that with a machine over to my right. I want to set her up, then I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Now, let's come around the back, Lauren. Just be careful not to trip on the wire. And then once I move, you're going to stand right here and rest your left hand right there. Yeah, right now. Perfect. Now, this machine she's touching is called a Van de Graaff generator. It's a clear plastic tube about 3 feet tall, holding up a metal dome that's about 1 foot tall. There's a dark thing stretched out inside of the tube. It's like a giant rubber band, and I can spin it with a motor. And as it spins, it scoops negative charges out of a box at the bottom of the machine, carries them up to the top, and puts them on that metal dome. Now, normally they'd stay there, but since Lauren is touching the metal dome, maybe some of those charges will go into her hand and down her arm. Maybe they'll fill up her body and her head, and even go into her beautiful brown hair. And I could give you a big, long, boring explanation about what's going to happen next. But seriously, do I have to? Exactly. I think if most people were living in a cave their whole life, they still have a pretty good guess about what happens to long-haired people when they touch these bulb machines. So let's test your guess. Now, Lauren, it's a little hard to hear me when this thing is running. It's kind of noisy. So if you don't understand, just give me a what look, and I'll be louder. But the key thing is just don't lift your hand while it's running. Okay? It's okay to move your hand, just don't lift it. You understand? All right, let's charge it up. Let's zoom in so we can see her hair better. So I'll bet a lot of you think we're about to have a hair-raising experience. Am I right? Let's watch and see. Now, Lauren, because this is so long, maybe you can loosen it up a little bit, just sort of shake your head a bit. A little harder than that. Come on. All right, good enough. Okay? And yeah, I just want to remind the person on that floor, please turn on the spotlight. Thank you. Now, I'll bet a lot of you are expecting a hair-raising experience. Am I right? And if you watch Lauren, I would swear that some of the loose stuff on top looks like it's getting a little further, isn't it? But it's not very impressive. I mean, you would certainly rightly expect that the Museum of Science would be able to do more repair than this. But maybe the problem is all about this idea of resistance. You see, the only way her hair is going to change is if charge goes into her. And if charge goes into her, that means her arm has low resistance because charge is going through it. The only problem with that is that if her arm has low resistance, her legs do too. They're maybe the same thing. So what might simply be happening is that as fast as the charge goes into Lauren at the top, it empties out her feet to the ground. She doesn't really get very far unbalanced. Now, one of my most important jobs here is to really model what science is. And it's not that you know a lot of stuff, it's that you're trying to figure out stuff you don't know by coming up with an idea and then testing it. So I just had an idea. This is how we're going to test it. Did you notice that very obvious stool in front of it? Now, the stool's made of plastic, and plastic is an insulator. It has really high resistance. So if my idea has any wear into it, I can use that like a cork and bottle up more charge and more. So when I signal you, I want you to walk up to the top of the stool and stand there. And remember, it's okay to slide your hand in the metal to stand in contact. Are you ready? All right, going up. Once again, I'll zoom in on her hair, all the way up. Keep going. And we're definitely going to see it this time because I think it's going to look a lot more interesting, almost immediately. Lauren, would you give it one more shake, please? Loosen it up. Oh, no, harder than that. That's perfect. That's good. That's good. That's plenty. Oh, yeah. Now, I'll point out that we didn't change Lauren and we didn't change So you see why it's such an important idea. In this case, resistance determined if the current doesn't go through Lauren or if it can. How do you like your new hairdo? It's great? Well, I got some bad news for you. My boss, Mrs. Morgan, she's kind of a cheapskate about charge. She doesn't let people walk out here anymore than they came into it. So before she leaves, I'm going to have to take it. And I'm perfect for this because I'm still in the ground like she was before. I'm still a path of low resistance. So hold your right hand up here. Make a fist, closer to me. Closer to me, you gotta pull it there. Now I'm gonna shut off the machine so it stops charging her. And then once fresh charge is being stuffed into her, I'll take the charge that is in her out. This will happen fast, watch her. 3, 2, 1. Now, if you were really close, you may have seen her very small spark. It was pretty pretty. But the key thing is, did you see her hair? That's evidence. The charge is used to base path to the ground. She's back to balance and her awesome self. Thank you so much for helping. Give her a big round of applause. Great job. Now, for the rest of the program, we're going to explore the role resistance plays in lightning safety and whether it has to do anything with some of these tips we've heard. Let's start with the classic. Who's ever heard that you should never stand under something tall, like a tree or a lightning storm? Who's heard that? Now, instead of me telling the answer, we're going to do some more science and try to explore it together. For a few minutes, I want to bring up the lights to house level because I want to show you something inside the enclosure that's a little bit easier to see with the lights on. It's something that we call a lightning target. I'll put it on the camera as well. Oh, by the way, looks like we have somebody in the stairwell. Can you please move that on the
Papi, te lo
stairwell?
voy a enviar a ti porque yo casi no tengo. Te voy a enviar el video a ti.
So anyway, like I said, it's something we call a lightning target. Now, we call it a lightning target for two reasons. First of all, it's very well grounded by a big wire. If you wonder what the deal is with ground, think of it like a safety valve for charge. It's a place charges can go into or come out of. The other thing that makes it a great target is what it's made of. Now, it is not made of plastic like that swivel. Can you tell what it's made of? It's metal. Yeah, steel for the cylinder. Top part's aluminum. Doesn't really matter which kind though. All metals are extremely good conductors. So, that means it has low resistance. So between the conductivity and the grounding, that's what makes it a lightning target. Now, the lightning always comes from one place, the giant machine that's in the middle of the enclosure. Even though it looks different, it's the same kind of machine that Lauren was just touching. It's a Van de Graaff generator. Now, there are some significant differences. First of all, it's absolutely gigantic. It's about 30 feet tall. It's held up by 2 columns, and they're actually made of wood, by the way. And this one, I just slapped, has 3 rubber belts in it to carry the charge up. So it can carry a lot of it at once, and then it has a much bigger metal dome to actually hold the charge. And yes, we know, it looks like a giant tush. We've heard it before. But the thing that's important is that since we can put a lot of charge on it, that builds up a huge amount of energy trying to pull it off. And eventually it jumps off as lightning to the target. That's how it all works. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start by hitting the target the way it is, but then we're going to make the target taller and see if the lightning changes. First step is starting with the belts. Whenever you hear this, that's the belts spinning around inside the tube. Now, when they get to full speed, I'm going to start carrying charge up with them. Now, whenever possible, I will give you an approximate 5-second countdown to the lightning is coming, but I can't always do that. So as a rule of thumb, if you see me pop these on, and you see me cleaning around this console, that means I'm about to bring up the phone. So prepare yourself for it. And I just accidentally hit the wrong button and set the target up early, so just give it a few seconds to come back down so we can do this experiment. And unfortunately, we do have sort of pseudo targets these days. Don't you hate when your lightning target is slow? Am I right? That's a terrible thing. All right, as soon as it gets down to that lower position and it's reasonably tall, we will strike with lightning, then we'll raise it and see if the lightning changes. And this is going to come down hopefully a little faster any second now. We've already got things to say. I know you're on this board. Any second now, it's maybe they're going to come. Obviously, thank you. 45 years to figure out what to worry about. There we go, that's better. Okay, that's a better height to start with. Let's do it there. Let's get this party started. Lightning in 5 seconds. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now, forward. Worked the way up. So when we made the target taller, did the lightning change in any way? How did it change?